Matthew in Texas. Matthew, you are on the line with Jimmy and Adalind. Matthew, I'm in Austin or near Austin. Are you in my neck of the woods?
I'm not in your neck of the woods. I'm actually closer out to Midland,
No man's land. Just kidding.
It really is no man's land out here.
Is the weather nicer at least? Because it's garbage out here.
Mediocre. You have your good days, your bad days. Not the greatest. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how you ended up on my feed. Because earlier you said you wanted everybody to reach out, put comments in. It worked. It worked. Yeah. You somehow ended up on my feed, so that's why I'm calling today.
Yeah, I didn't ask George Soros to put the algorithm like I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's the point that you want to share here?
Well, I don't believe sex work is necessarily work because it's not a societal plus. It doesn't benefit society. Nothing against you, Madeline. I think you found your own way in life, and good for you. But I don't think it's necessarily something we should be propping up.
Okay. Why? Well, what do you? Yeah, sure. Let's start there. Why do you think it's not something we should be?
Well, I've always been in the belief. I think it's great to have a marriage. We should be supporting marriages between couples, and which way in that. I think if that's how we go, I think that's what we should be focusing on. I think sex work falls away from the family unit.
And why? What's so important about having a family unit?
Well, a decent amount of studies have been done showing that a family unit, just having a full parental household, is better for a child's development and for partners in general when it comes to long-term sustainment of the family. I think it's better for people to have partners.
So
go ahead. Sorry.
Ignoring kind of the judgment that's around that. What if I don't want to have a family?
Up to you.
Then what's the issue?
I think everybody has a right to make that choice, but I think as a society, we should be moving forward to have more families. It's better for society.
Okay, so that's what you mean by the contributing to society thing. I am curious what you feel about this. Do you feel like forms of entertainment like movies or TV shows or other forms of art like music contribute to society at all?
I do, yes.
Okay, cool. So
art is the way to speak through the world.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm a musician, so yeah, I feel really strongly about that too. So.
And I heard you talking about that song you wrote earlier.
Yeah.
You want to give everybody a little preview of that?
I can do that another day, but if you wanna follow my Instagram up here, and then it's on another account. You have to go through some hoops. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to chat about. It's out there though.
All right.
Thank you for appreciating it though. But yeah, so we've agreed that art does contribute to society. What makes you feel like that sex work is different from that?
Sex work? So I think we need to, you were just talking about it with the last caller, and there's the nuances between sex work, prostitute, and the other forms. And
for sure.
I don't know necessarily how to feel like, is porn good for society? Is prostitution good for society? Is OnlyFans good for society? And it becomes a very gray line. And does that become where we need to have more legislation in place to make it to where only once you pass a certain age, you could be able to view that material?
You're right, that sex work. Okay. So, well, there's a lot here that we just laid down. Let's start with your original point that you mentioned that you feel like sex work doesn't contribute to society. You're right. Sex work is pretty much an umbrella term. So let's start with a division that you feel like you can best argue does not contribute to society? Anyone you want.
I will probably say, and this is the one that will probably get the most heat, I think porn is the worst for society.
Why?
It is, I think it does give a term, I would consider myself a Christian, so I say a lustful eye. And I think as whenever you have a partner, you should be never looking at another person in any other way unless you're with that partner. So that's a way to put it. But I think it gives too much ease of access, and it is a dangerous content. And anything like you were talking about earlier can become an addiction. It's more of the release of dopamine in the body and how people are able to handle that.
For sure.
So the use of addiction is very light whenever it comes to porn addiction. I think people overuse that. I think it's just people like to use that as a scapegoat.
Okay, so I still don't fully understand your argument here, like about what you feel like porn is dangerous to society.
I do believe so, yes.
Okay. And why is that?
Mostly because it tears people away from those core family values, and those core family values mean they should be only focusing on that one partner. I know we're going to vary very differently on this because I heard you talking earlier, so I'd love to talk to you about it.
We're having a chill conversation right now. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I personally am polyamorous, so I know we definitely have different feelings about the core family values there. But I mean, like, nobody's making you watch porn, Matthew. Like, if you don't like it, then you don't have to watch it. So why don't you think other people, or maybe I'm putting words in your mouth here, but you feel like porn should be banned, or?
Well, I live more on the fence. I believe that it needs to be more restricted in a way to where if you want to view it, you have to be this certain of an age, because any developmental process for a kid is very important. Any influences.
Yeah, sure. I think that's already a law, Matthew.
You're in the state of Texas, but not in all of America.
You do need to be 18 in order to watch porn, Matthew.
Yeah. So that is true. There is a law in place, but it doesn't prevent the accessibility to it, and
that's what I think is the problem. To it's job of the parents or the caregiver of a child to do. I don't feel like that should be. Well, no, it shouldn't be the role of the government, because the internet is not is not a parent. Pornhub even provides at the bottom of their page, like, resources on how to make sure your kid can't access the site. And there are plenty of, like, safe search features. Yeah. So that's why, I don't know how much you know about this, but Pornhub has been blocking access to the states that have been requiring ID verification because it's just such a blatant privacy concern. Like, like, what happens if there's already been so many data breaches in, like, Facebook and stuff where, they're not supposed to be keeping the data, but clearly they are. So when it comes down to something so sensitive like porn, when, most people enjoy porn, certainly not everybody, but, you don't want that information getting leaked. And that's where that ID verification becomes really, really nefarious.
It also doesn't work. If you don't mind, do you mind if I jump in with something here?
Oh yeah, you can go for it, Jimmy.
Matthew, ID verification as in Texas has already been shown to be bad for what you're describing, like the whole, you need to be able to, okay, so here's the deal. Pornhub is following those laws. You know who isn't following those laws? A lot of other, especially internationally hosted sites, and kids know how to use technology. So if you're going to give your kid a smartphone and not restrict it yourself, they will find the porn whether or not you put them in, because they know how to use VPNs. They know how to make it look like they're in Sweden right now or Finland right now. or they know which sites aren't going to restrict them. And those sites overwhelmingly, like Pornhub has had problems in the past. Because of those problems, they've actually been refined to a much more preferable, they're not without problem still, system, but where all their content creators are verified. There isn't abuse porn on there the way there was. Whereas right now, if you're a kid and you want to watch porn, you just go with something that's hosted in a different country, and you're going to be exposed to actual incest porn. You're going to be exposed to people who it looks like they're doing porn, but they're drugged or they're being raped or whatever else. Those things are on those websites. And so actually trying to put these like well-meaning to keep the kids off has created a security risk for the people participating and has actually made it so that kids are getting exposed to worse porn.
That's an excellent point.
That is a very good point. And I do appreciate your conversation earlier about talking about data breaches. That rides that fine line that I don't like either.
Right.
You know, and I do think it becomes more on the parent. It does.
Yes.
And always. I think a lot of parents are very misnomered about technology and how they actually use it.
For sure, I agree.
I'm much more interested, even if you take it back now, of jumping back to how is sex work not work? Because it seems like you're saying that the definition of work is only that which benefits society, when most of the economy doesn't work that way. Most of what we do, most of like the things you buy in a day aren't like just functionally to get you through stuff. There's some level, as an American especially, of luxury to it. You're not just eating food that is cheap and efficient and healthy. You're eating food that you think is tasty. You don't just buy a car that gets you from point A to point B. You buy a car that you want to be. So there's an entire luxury end that the average American, even the poor, get some access to. And
yeah,
to say
that's where I was trying to start to go before, and then I accidentally got a little derailed. But yeah, I agree. I would like to get back on the point about how it doesn't benefit society, because that's when I was starting to talk about like other forms of entertainment, like TV shows and art and whatnot. So what do you think divides, say, porn from other forms of entertainment, like we already talked about?
And then makes it not work?
I'm still here. It's a tough question. You know, we're talking about a very. Is this? I've been raised as a Christian. Actually, I was raised outside the church, and I became one myself. Is a better way to put it. And does it fall upon more moral values, religious values? And since I don't know where y'all lie upon all of that stuff, are you, like Adalind said, you are polyamorous. Very different worldview than I ever believed. I don't think it's healthy for people in the world to have access to that stuff, at least not easily. I think it should be restricted in a sort of way that prevents it from being accessed easily.
By who?
Okay, but
majority, I would say anybody under 18. I know it's already a law. We did discuss this earlier.
Who should be restricting it?
It should be the state should be restricting it.
But we've already explained to you why that doesn't work. Are we gonna illegalize VPNs? Because you don't want other people watching porn, they also don't get access to VPNs, which have other benefits than just being able to watch porn?
And VPNs do. I think this debate goes very well deep into society, but I don't think I'm necessarily going to win on this point, mostly because we have very different worldviews on this. But I would like to talk about something I did hear earlier. So let's say if we did legalize prostitution,
or decriminalize.
How do we make that safe for people like you, or decriminalize?
For sure. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
is it safer for you to be working on your own, or is it safer for you to be working inside of a business?
So that pretty much comes down to person. I would argue there is more safety, obviously, for me to be working at an actual establishment. But if it were to be decriminalized, like it would be easier to hire security. I don't know. There's just like a lot of things that I haven't really gotten into because right now I'm just kind of trying to cover my ass legally, and not get scooped up by Las Vegas police. But
Yes.
which brings me right back to it would make it much safer if it were decriminalized because I wouldn't have police on my ass. And excuse me. Oftentimes, since Vegas police hate hookers. Like, I'm just gonna say that. To the point where, like, if you even kind of look like you might be soliciting, hanging out at the casinos at all, like, they might ask for your ID, and then if they see you later, they might just, like, ask you to leave. Like, I know people who have been completely banned from all the casinos. And at the end of the day, when with the safety and stuff, like Jimmy already mentioned, that there are plenty of people who have tons of sex for free. Like after a certain point, it doesn't become much more dangerous than like a random hookup. Like
Yeah,
that is true. And
Matthew, before I have a question
Jimmy did talk about that.
I'd prefer, or Matthew, I have a question that I'd love for you to respond to then. It sounds like all of your objections are just that you have moral objections based in your religious beliefs. I hope and assume that you don't think other people by the state should be forced to live your religion. So if that is the case, what is your best secular argument for why prostitution should stay illegal, that prostitutes who are still working in a country where it's illegal in most states and most places, they should remain basically in danger, and that danger that they would be in is worth it because prostitution should still be illegal because of what? What is the best secular argument for keeping prostitution illegal?
So you're completely right. Christianity is a choice at the end of the day. I can't force that upon you. I truly don't want to force it upon other people. I think that's a cruel way to put it. I do want to see people do better in the world. I want to see people succeed. I want to see people become the greatest person they can be. If we go back and look at Jesus, he sat with hookers. He sat with people who did taxes.
Matthew, you're preambling here, though. This is a tangent. This is an aside. Apologies. I'm just trying to be efficient because we have other calls waiting. We only have 54 minutes late. So what would be the best secular argument for, in a country with a secular constitution, prostitution should still be illegal because what?
It should stay illegal. And I say this because it is not safe necessarily for the worker. It's for their own health, and we do have tests now, but there is bad actors out there who would be very happy to harm these kinds of people because they learn access to where they live. And
so then, Matthew,
if anything,
Matthew, I'm just trying to keep it concise so we move it. So if you make prostitution, if legal prostitution could be made to be at least as safe as any other job, that of course at all jobs, women are being sexually exploited at non-prostitution based jobs right now. So if you can get their safety level down to the same rate as any other job, or even whatever the least safe legal job there is, crab fishing or whatever, the ice road truckers, whatever, as long as it's safer than other things that we allow to be legal, you would no longer have an opposition to it being illegal on the basis of whether it should be illegal, but with a secular argument. Obviously, you still want people not to do it because you're Christian, but having an actual legal argument for it, if it's at least as safe as any other job we make legal, you have no opposition, or is there a different reason?
If we can make it, just to use an example here, strip clubs, they have security guards out there. They can hire police out there. And, they have bouncers at the place that can at least help protect the girls. This gives a safe way of revenue. This could be a safe way of doing tests. I would be very happy with that. It keeps people who want to go do it legally, they can go there, and then it keeps the girls safe as well. And I think that's a better way to do it. And I hope it never ends up as bad as crab fishing rates of people dying. That would be horrible.
So
yeah, that just
the reason why I'm asking you that. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, that just goes right back to okay, so it sounds like you're in favor of the legal brothels, Matthew. But that just goes right back to my topic of advocating for decriminalization over legalization, because there will always be people who do not have the means to operate in a legal way, and that just comes down to, I do not want women in jail or being punished for doing a job that they either might have to do or just want to do. And for me, that's just what it comes down to, is that it just shouldn't be punished.
Yeah. So, Matthew, the point I was going to make was that you just laid out that as long as it was safe, you would have no opposition to it. And yet we already know in countries where it is legal, we're not talking about like third world countries or anything, which most of them, they're not legal, but in developed nations with not only it is legal, but there are often protection laws for them. They can unionize and all the rest. It is a considerably safer. It's safer than being a butcher. It is already, if you decriminalize it. In fact, right now, most of the danger that you are saying that you're worried about is still less than the current system, because no matter where you are, no matter how illegal you're going to make it, there's going to be prostitutes. It's going to happen. And so right now, the fact that Adalind has to worry about her access, not just to police who are going to be annoyed she's a prostitute, but then if she needs access to them for something else, like she needs access because something bad has happened to her, and cops are now going to be like, well, you're the one who decided to be a hooker, so the fact that one of your clients beat you up, we don't give a fuck. That's your thing.
Exactly.
We're not going to prioritize this. We're not going to take care of you. We're not going to. Right now, the danger to even legal prostitutes is the fact that it's surrounded by not only a culture that mostly makes it illegal everywhere else, but hates them. And in societies where they legalize it, where it's better, where there are protections, where you basically have just the same, because they don't really need unique protections. You just have the same protections as other workers. People aren't allowed to intentionally harm you, intentionally harass you. Well, what that looks like might be different. The actual protection itself doesn't need any additional wording than anybody does. Right now, arguably, independent contractors working for Uber are getting more shafted than independent contractors working on OnlyFans, right? So if you're saying as long as it's safe, everybody's an adult, they should do it, then it's not a problem. You should be pro-prostitution because it is safe. It is much, much safer when you legalize it.
I can never say I'm pro-prostitution, but I will say I am pro for the fact that if it's a safer way we can do it for these people, we should.
Good. And I would drop the line about it not being work because you don't think it benefits society.
All right. Well, I'll let you go so you can get to your other callers. Thank you so much for listening to me today. It was a pleasure talking to you all.
Sure, Matthew. Right, if you want to call in on a future one and debate your religion, I'd be happy to take that call too, but another day.
I'll be watching you some other time.
All right. Thanks, Matthew.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.